Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. So in this video guys, we are going to be taking a look basically at the hyperdimensional carp. Now obviously there has been a bit of a change to this hyperdimensional carp, and you have the ability to essentially get Z power for the Fierce Fight Cooler. So it's obviously a big part in ranking up Cooler to 14 stars. I have covered how you can get Fierce Fight Cooler and everything about him pretty much in another video, which will be linked in the top right hand corner. Now obviously guys, it's a limited time reward, so you can only get 3 instances of Cooler's multi-Z power every day, and it scales per difficulty. Both the extreme and advanced difficulty drop 100, intermediate will drop 50, and beginner will drop 20. So if you want to maximize getting Cooler as quickly as possible, obviously you want to do advanced or extreme. So you're going to want to focus on there. Now obviously I covered Cooler in a previous video, everything in relation to this event and everything you need to know. So if you have any queries about that, you can obviously link to that video. But Cooler himself looks pretty decent, and obviously they've changed it up a little bit in that you acquire some of his Z power from obviously hyperdimensional carp. Now it's happened before where you acquire free-to-play units from hyperdimensional carp, but I think this is the first time for a fierce fight unit. So it's quite nice because hyperdimensional carp's not strictly speaking the hardest in terms of categories. Obviously there are some challenges. It does function like a normal hyperdimensional carp in that you can get chrono crystals from it, you can get a whole bunch of other rewards and equipment, but the big appeal here is going to be the multi-Z power for Cooler, and the very nice piece of equipment actually that's also pretty decent for lineage of evil units as well. So you can use the blue Cooler, by the way. You can use him to finish the hyperdimensional carp, so there's no need to not have an option here. Cooler is effective in this event, so you can use him. Obviously at the advanced difficulty we're facing a green Goku, so using a blue Cooler is not ideal, but he does still have the damage bonus, and as you'll see he generally does fine. He doesn't do terribly, so you shouldn't have a massive concern. Obviously, yeah, you can have a slightly worse time, just depending on your luck, depending on your partner. But generally speaking, if you just play a hyperdimensional carp properly and the way it is intended, you shouldn't have any major glaring problems in completing this event. At least not from my perspective. Obviously, I guess you can always struggle with events. Like, it's not to say that you can't struggle, but I think for the most part you shouldn't be struggling too hard. At least for me. With that being said, obviously guys, just the important things about a hyperdimensional carp you do need to be aware of. Make sure that you do them as usual. So in terms of obviously just things like making sure that you cover for your ally when they have the exclamation mark above their head, make sure that you cover for them, that you obviously press the button, you switch in, you do cross cover, make sure obviously that you do your rising rush when the limit burst is down. That's obviously going to help you out as well. Yeah, just generally speaking, very simple things will make it a lot easier. If you don't do these things, you're going to have a harder time. But for the most part, it shouldn't be massively difficult to complete hyperdimensional carp. You want to do rising rush at the same time. You want to ideally get the same strike card as well as your ally. But for the most part, you won't have massive issues. This is a relatively simple and fun game mode, and you won't struggle hugely. Obviously, if you fail to kill the enemy, you are going to get their limit burst reset, the shield will reset like you saw here, and you are going to have to completely break the shield and then knock them down to 0. It's usually not a big issue. For the most part, you should finish before one shield refresh. If you do have a shield refresh, generally they should be low enough. Just give it your best shot, and you honestly won't have that many issues. Follow the tips, follow the guidance. If you're a brand new player, Like I said, just Rising Rush at the same time. Make sure that you obviously, try your best to maximize your power, choose the appropriate allies and appropriate enemies, and yeah, you'll be fine. You're not going to struggle. Honestly speaking, this type of event is not a big issue. Personally, I find Hyperdimensional Co-op to be one of the more enjoyable casual PvE game modes, and yeah, it takes a couple minutes and you will get all your runs done for the day. So you're not going to really struggle. As you can see, we got the limited time reward of 100 Z power, which is fantastic. And yeah, we're just generally having a pretty solid time. Obviously, it depends on how everything runs for you. Maybe you'll have a bad time, maybe you'll pick up some bad partners, but generally speaking, you should be fine. And you can use the metal cooler that you get from the event, so I don't foresee you having any major issues. With that being said, guys, that is pretty much everything you need to know about the Hyperdimensional Co-op. I don't think there's anything else really. Obviously, you can exchange for rewards, but the big appeal is the limited time multi-Z power reward, which is obviously fantastic. And then also, you also want to finish the cooler missions, which require you to do 10 Hyperdimensional Co-op. So not the craziest amount, not like you have to do 50, but pretty chilled. That's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.